Hi, I'm Jamie. Welcome to Sci-Fi Vision, and I don't have the picture up yet. Tonight, I just realized that, like as I'm talking, I'm like, it's not up yet. Tonight we have Revival and Ironheart and Resident Alien and Murderbot and Sandman even. So we got a lot. So I know Karen will be joining us in a few minutes.
She'll be
Do
here
you
in
know
a few minutes.
which she did watch?
No idea.
No idea. Okay.
I know
Well,
she's finishing up Resident Alien, so
well,
we
what do
won't
you want
start with that.
You don't, or you do want to start with that?
No,
Sorry.
don't start with that because that's what she's finishing up.
Okay, so why don't we start with Murderbot since she doesn't like that all that much? How's that? Let me open.
Hey Justin, that's nothing for Jamie. Jamie can be on a live stream for 15 hours.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
I'm exaggerating.
No, the most I've ever done, I think, is 6 actually, and that was crazy. And I haven't done it since because I'm not quite that nuts. I don't do it again. I did it once, and that was more than enough. Trust me. All righty, let me
start with Murderbot.
Yep, let's start with Murderbot. All right, so this episode is All Systems Red, which is based on the name of the book. So what did you think about this one? I actually really like this one a lot.
This one was pretty good. It was lots of stuff happening. It wasn't just a bunch of idiots sitting around. I love how he kept not telling them everything in the plan. And they're like, "That's not part of the plan." He's like, "It is part of the plan. I just didn't tell you about this part of the plan."
Or I didn't tell you about. Right. I know exactly. Right. Yeah, I like that too, and I like that he had a lot more to do. But they actually did trust him in this one too. Is the other thing.
They really didn't have a choice.
Well, I know, but I mean, they believed he was going to do it, even when he seemed like he betrayed them. They believed it, and he came through for them. And yeah, I mean, this time I think he outright chose them over what was best for him. So I really liked that point.
And my prediction was kind of close, but not exactly. Like I thought he was going to pretend that he killed all of them, but what he went in that type of direction just a little differently than how I saw it going.
Yeah, I love how he, in order to make it look like he was betraying him, was like, I killed Garathan! And it's like this head, and it's like, will they notice it's their robot? Of course not, because they don't pay any attention, you know?
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that some of this plan through the episode was a little confusing to like follow as they were, because they kept changing it, and like then they couldn't hack the thing they tried to. Because what I got out of it in the end was that he was stalling them so they could hack their beacon.
Well, no, he couldn't. He could. Well, he didn't know because of when the drone got shot down, they lost their communications. So he didn't know why it didn't go off.
He didn't realize it. But I mean, the plan was to hack the beacon so they could send it off. And
Right.
then the plans shifted to let's let these people die in the fire. And then it didn't go off. And I love how the thing that's funny is he ended up jumping off the cliff later to save Mensa. But the first time when he thought it was going to go off, like he jumped over this little hill.
Yeah.
When the woman's looking down on him. And I'm not sure what was the point of that other than it was really funny. But
well, he just took cover, he just took cover, any cover he could get at the moment. And
I know, but it's like he's like right there. If he had jumped off the cliff, it would have worked a little better. But yeah, it's not too far of a drop there. But and I love how that the one guy eventually figured out that he's quoting
the TV show.
Yeah, and Rita, I think her name was Rita, when like said something bad about the show, like that it was a dumb show or something, and he like got mad. It was funny. Sanctuary mood. So yeah,
because the guy was like, he's quoting the show. He's like, no, I'm not. She's like, you talk about that awful show. He goes, that's not an awful show. Like, which totally, yeah.
Yeah. And then Mensa almost screwed up the whole plan because she went and did her own version of it to add everything. All right.
Karen! Yay! Hi, Karen.
Hello. Hi, you guys. Hi.
Welcome back. Did you have a good trip?
Long time no see.
Oh, I had a really good trip. And it was 100 degrees here when I left New York. It was 100 degrees when I got back to New York. in between, it was like 60 every day. I really missed that Alaska weather. It was gorgeous.
I like the hot weather, so, but it has been pretty hot here lately. But glad you had a good trip. We decided to do Murderbot first, since you
Go for it.
One of your
Are you caught up on Murderbot?
favorite ones.
No, but I don't really like it that much, so I don't care if you guys spoil me.
Fair enough.
That's
Okay.
I'm not a big fan either.
No, that's fair.
This latest episode was decent though.
Yeah, I like that we got some more people too, like a different group, because we usually only have them. So it was nice to see, this other group come in and interact with them, even if they all ended up dead. But I really love that I don't know. It's funny that like they think they know everything, but they're so out of touch, because like we said, they didn't even realize the head belonged to their own sec unit.
Well, I'm sure they've never seen the face of their sec units.
No, I'm sure they haven't, but it's just funny that it worked out that way. But everything kept going wrong. I mean, their drone got eaten by a bird. So, but my point was that I was making before Karen came in is a lot of it was like a very confusing, lot of steps plan that because it kept changing. I don't know. I found that, at least without going back and like rewatching pieces of it, I was a little confused trying to keep straight what they were attempting. But I also like the idea in a way that maybe they're realizing they can't always save everybody, and that they have to do certain things, because I know that Mensa wasn't really willing to let them die. I mean, she went off on her own with the ship because she didn't want anything to happen to these people, even if they're bad. Although then she's bluffing with a bunch of shit. I was surprised with that. That was never going to work. But yet Pin Lee at one point kills somebody accidentally. It's like, I didn't mean to kill him. So yeah, they have to protect themselves. They need to learn that they might have to do things they don't like to protect them. And I also like, the other thing I like too is like at the end, I know they're all hugging, but like even Garathan is sad, or looks sad anyway, like when they think that he might be dead. And well, I don't know, a robot doesn't die, but you know what I mean.
No, there was definitely a new appreciation from Garathan. I think partly because he's in love with Mensa, and Murderbot just saved her life. So how does he not show some kind of gratitude?
Yeah, very true. But I think they all finally trust him after this, wouldn't you say? I mean, I would think they should.
I would hope so, but
yeah.
Again,
I know we've talked before about, is part of it his program or is it? I mean, I think here he definitely made the choice to try to save him, because he even says that all he wanted to do was watch his shows, but they were his, whatever he said, something like they're the best crew or whatever. Like, I think he's finding more of an appreciation.
I mean, I guess in a way you could say, is it part of his programming? Yes, but I guess you can make the argument that we all have programming.
Yeah.
We're human. We don't have wires and circuits and everything, but we have other things.
We have things that we're told
that
the right thing
make
to do
us feel and do the things we do. So, I mean,
yeah. But I think there was a
one of
lot
those
to really fun in this episode too. Like him trying to stall was hilarious when he's making up all kinds of stuff, and like the head thing. We already mentioned the head thing, but the head thing was like the best part, I think.
The head thing was great.
I was trying to see somewhere. I have a picture of the head. I don't know where it's at. But anyway, yeah, I love that. And he pulled it off. And I love how they kind of had, the other ones at the same time, like, wait, what's he doing? Like, is he really doing that? Is he really selling us out? And then there was like, yeah, Graffin's not dead, so he's full of shit. So yeah. So I enjoyed that part.
I did like that Garathan figured out what he was doing when everybody else was like, he's selling us out, and Grathan's like, no, I know what he's doing.
Yes, he actually knew. And I love too how like at the end he's has to actually tell them they're hacking in, and he's like the person who has whatever augmentation, then he's like trying to think of a name because he already told him Garathan was dead.
Yeah.
So that's and he also, there was another quote, he bumps into one of the I don't know if I can find it, but he bumps into one of the robots.
Oh yeah, and he says sorry.
And he says sorry, and then he says something like, I've gotten the empathy disease or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, why would I say sorry?
Yeah, he's changing and doesn't even realize it or even realize why. But yeah, there was I think a lot of funny stuff in this episode. Even like when he's talking about when he's like I said, he's stalling and he's like, "Do you like this planet?" That guy's like, "No, I hate this planet." And like she's yelling at him to shut up, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't like complaining to him." And
Now,
yeah.
was this the finale or is there one more?
Yeah, there's one more. There's one more. Yeah, I'm not sure. Some people thought it was the finale. I know last night. No,
I wasn't
there's
sure.
one more. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that they have a second season planned and that there's more story. Because I'm assuming this is probably, book one, but yeah, they have at least a little bit more wrap up to do. It also shows that sorry, I was just gonna say it also shows like that the other teams like are awful people because they shoot each other when they try to run away and all that. Yeah. So there's stuff. I somewhere got like a blurry picture of that bird, but I couldn't get. I was trying to see if I could find it. No, that's just red. That's not a bird. Somewhere here. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else. I've already kind of there's the bird. The blurry
There's
bird.
the bird that ran.
That was
There's the bird.
best I could get because it wouldn't freeze on anything. It was all out of focus. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I've kind of already talked about it at
Yeah, that's
length.
pretty much.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Like I said, but a lot of it is all kind of putting the plan together. But I did really like his like performance, I guess is the way to say it. Like Murderbot's, I mean, not the actors, but Murderbot's performance of lying to these people and tricking them and yeah, making them think that he's giving up his peeps that he didn't.
When the jig was up, I like when he tried talking to the other bots, telling them, "I can teach you how to hack your
government module." And it's like they didn't care. And then he's like, "If you don't like freedom, maybe you like a distraction or something." And he gives them his. And I also think that he actually physically like transferred his shows. I think he lost them when he did them. I got that impression. So the fact
I wasn't sure if he just I wasn't sure about that. If he
it seemed
just like sent copies over or if he sent all the information and he doesn't have it anymore.
Well, I'm
not
sure he still has some, but I mean, I think he transferred some of it out. At least it seemed like it because it seemed like he was making a sacrifice to save them. At least I'd like to think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to think so. But yeah, it was a good episode. It was funny, but it was also kind of sad. Like I said, sad too. And it was nice to have more people and more interactions. And hey, now the beacon went off, so they have a chance of being rescued.
Yeah.
I have to question too, though, if they get rescued, then like, where's the story going to go? Because obviously they're going to have to, if it's the same cast, which I assume if they have another season, it's going to be the same cast. There'd have to be a reason they go off with him again. And I'm not sure why they would do that. I don't know. But
because he's dead. Remember,
they're going to tell everybody he's dead. I guess is that
they had the other crew send a message that he was destroyed.
That's true. So maybe he could become one of their crew and just like.
So he doesn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. For all we know, he can walk around with his. I forgot that he can walk around with his face, and people might not even know.
I kind of wonder though, they really did. I guess they probably really did. But it's funny because the whole time they're saying, yeah, we'll tell them. The other one's also saying to them, basically, we'll decommission them when we're done. And as far as I know, he could hear them. So I'm not sure why they thought he was too stupid to figure that out. He knew they were planning to kill him, but I guess they really called then. I hadn't thought about it.
Well, that's because they had nothing to lose by doing it.
Yeah,
as far as
they were going to kill him anyway. So what difference
did it make?
They didn't need him. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, all right.
Well, that was a nice quickie.
Karen, if you're still listening, let's do Resident Alien. She was listening.
I was listening. I just watched 2 episodes back to back, so you'll have to remind me where the current week's episode started because I just watched these 2 as like a chapter. I mean, so the first episode I watched, I guess, was largely about Harry having to break up with Heather, right? And then the next episode I just watched was about Darcy trying to adopt a dog.
Yep.
This was the one about Darcy trying to adopt a dog.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell you what though, my favorite part of the entire episode though was the beginning of the episode.
Oh, him running in the middle of the road.
Nope, not even. No, a little further. Nope, the Alien Cracker podcast.
Oh, that was awesome.
I thought that was hilarious.
Alien trackers.
And I loved Liv's icon. It kind of reminded me of ours.
Oh, I didn't get a picture of the icon. I didn't even think about it.
But you saw it though, right? With the cracker and the spaceship.
Yeah, I saw it. I'll have to see if I can.
And Jamie,
I'll see if I can get it.
And Jamie, we were just talking last week about where's Asta's dad? Like, why hasn't he been around? And then here he is.
I know.
Heading out on tour.
Yeah, I know. Right. He showed up all of a sudden, and it was weird that he wasn't.
Oh yeah, and he goes on tour in order to launch the storyline about Asta trying to manage the diner and feeling like a failure, and Darcy pulling an Uncle Billy from just like Uncle Billy in that movie where Jimmy Stewart wishes he was never born.
A Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, where he loses the bank deposit, right?
Yeah, poor
the bank deposit. So I like
the logo. It is kind of like that. You're right. That's the alien
cracker. I love it.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah, well, she has a cooking.
There's probably like 10. There are probably a million podcasts out there changing their name to Alien Cracker right now.
That's great.
So I like this episode a lot better than the one that we're not going to discuss, the one from last week. Mainly because, like when they get into the really silly Harry stuff and the alien grossness and just like, the regurgitate, like all that stuff was a little, it's just a little too dopey for me, last week's episode. This was a little more focused on story advancement. I like those.
What I thought in this episode is they really have to teach Harry about sexual harassment. That's what I kept thinking. Like, they need to teach him what not to do.
Well, yeah, Mike was telling him not to say those things.
Yeah, but he didn't. I think they need to explain to him why, because otherwise he's not going to get it.
It's a bit of a theme this season. There have been multiple episodes where Mayor is his name Ben the Mayor? He inadvertently crosses the line in multiple episodes. Almost every time he talks to a city employee, he says something that's borderline harassment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a funny recurring theme to me and recurring joke, and kind of hilarious that Mike of all people is the person who's most aware of it.
Yeah. He's before was the one that didn't treat women the best, and now he's like, you can do that.
Yeah,
but Harry is a lonely, so he wants.
Well,
I knew that was
Mike,
he said about the friend zone that was going to come back.
Mike was always a bit of a chauvinist, but he was never inappropriate.
No, you're right. He wasn't, but I don't know that he's the one to give the advice.
Yeah.
There's her dad there. So he's going off on music tour while she stays behind. I got a question, like her logic, because yes, the diner is like right, next door or whatever. I'm guessing because she said a stone's throw literally, so I'm guessing next door. Like, you still, if you're working at a doctor's office, do not have time to do another job at the same time.
Yeah, but this is patient. I mean,
well,
how often do we ever see her in the clinic anymore?
Yeah, but
and the point of it was so her dad could go, regardless of how well she's going to handle two jobs.
Yeah, no, I know. Also, though, how did it suck? Her coworker left for the day.
She does appear to have made arrangement for someone to cover her shift at the clinic, but she picked the most unreliable person you can think of. Yeah. She's this storyline is about her wanting her dad to be proud of her, which I think is to me, that's kind of an unneeded, I don't know. It didn't seem to me that with their relationship that Asta would feel her father wasn't proud of her. She's like a nurse at the clinic, and she, is she has a daughter, and I just have not, like, Darcy. Yes, Darcy is the character that like feels like a failure, but I haven't really felt. I was a little surprised to see that coming out of Asta this episode, right?
Yeah, I mean, her father, I think, has always been proud of her. I think she knows that. I think she just, I guess wanted to do something for him and, let him have his time to leave. I love, though, how she's like, "You're almost an elder." And he's like, "Don't say that."
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I don't know why he hasn't been around, because they did say he was going to be there, and, like, he hasn't been in it. Oops, we're not to it yet.
Well, we have a ways to go, and he's just recurring.
Yeah. So then we also have the storyline with Henry. Geez, I'm really tired tonight. Harry trying to bond with Bridget and not being successful, at least at the beginning, and being an embarrassing parent, which I thought was funny. I liked that. I thought it was cute. But he comes and infiltrates his poker game. So let me ask you, is Bridget actually a baby, though? That's what I'm trying to understand, because Bridget is still little in alien form and is like a teenager in human form, and obviously also a female in human form, but or like partially because of the name. But like the Bridget alien is still like a little baby, where like he's a life-size alien. Is it just supposed to be, I guess,
aliens are different? I mean,
I think
he's still young. And the reason he takes that female form is because that's Harry's real daughter, what she looks like.
No, I remember that.
The real Harry's daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why he.
Remind me though, why Bridget's part human, or did he mean because she was looked
Because
like
the woman from the museum, the museum woman. Yeah, she's his mother.
Oh, okay.
His mother,
okay. Yeah, I do remember that.
His mother's not that woman. Yeah. I mean, I think that Harry's species just matures at a different rate. Like, look at Baby Yoda is 50 years old. Baby Yoda is 50 in human years, but will probably be like 200 before he says a word, right? Before he learns English. I think
eventually it'll be a life-size Bridget, I guess. But
yeah, I think that the little baby alien Bridget body just matures differently than like the brain is, it's too expensive to have a baby alien.
But it's not supposed to be a baby, is my point. Because sometimes I kind of sound like
it's also cuter and funnier this way.
Oh, it's much cuter and funnier. But I just mean, like, it's not supposed to be a baby, clearly.
No.
For a while, kind of, sometimes they play it off that way, but I think it's just because it's little.
Yeah. I think because it's small and it speaks in like high-pitched gibberish, to us humans, it seems like an infant, right? Yeah. But it's really an adolescent.
Yeah. I love Bridget, though. I wish they'd put more
Bridget. I love Bridget, too. And I like this. I mean, I love the scene. This was a hilarious scene with Harry trying to bond with Bridget's friends, who were like all different aliens in different ages. But Harry's doomed to fail because Harry wants to bond with Bridget like out of a selfish impulse to just not be lonely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she froze. Yeah, I mean, at first he thinks that it's Asta because he tries to connect with Asta, and she's, of course, thankfully not having it. And he.
Well, yeah, we knew.
Yeah, we knew.
We knew that was gonna.
But that was funny when he came and proposed. You've been frozen. I hope you didn't say
You're frozen.
No, she's frozen still.
Can you hear it? She just said hello.
Yeah, am I back?
No,
you're still frozen, but I don't know if you hear us though. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I hear you.
There you
go. Okay, well, you were frozen for a minute.
I'm in Jersey.
So, yeah. Yeah. But he proposes to her with fake flowers. So this is like the second sort of fake out, potentially romance thing. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it's clearly not.
Well, like Asta says, she goes, the last few proposals have been from aliens posing as humans.
Like, two alien proposals in a month.
Yeah.
Why does it do that? It's not supposed to close. Poor
I don't know.
Asta. She can't. She can't get a good boyfriend, I guess.
Well,
But
I mean,
she
she's
does-
not looking. She's not. I mean, she's not looking
No, I know,
for
I'm
a
just
boyfriend.
kidding.
These
No.
two are inflicting themselves on her. She was not seeking a relationship
No,
with
I know.
Joseph.
I
I mean,
know,
it's not
but-
poor Asta. Poor Asta for having these aliens like throwing themselves on
That's a
her.
good
But I'm
point.
Yes, that's what we mean.
No, I'm just joking.
looking
But
for a boyfriend. And
Yeah.
a woman cannot have a boyfriend and don't call her poor anyone. Thank you very much. Right?
No. I meant no. We meant poor Asta that these two aliens are throwing themselves at her. Not poor Asta that she can't find a man. Poor Asta because the men that are trying.
Yeah. Appropriate.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? But Harry is lonely and wants, well, at this point, I think anybody. And she's the one that tells him to go talk to Bridget. So that's why he ends up trying to bond with Bridget.
Yeah.
They go fishing.
Which does not go very well the first time.
Does not go very well because he's trying too hard to be alien. And it's just he's trying to either be alien or make Bridget be human. He did kind of both.
So I have never had any kids, but I've always felt like this show kind of gets kids right sometimes, or most of the time. And the way Bridget acts in this scene and the way Max has been acting in general, to me seems, okay, I always have to go to AJ, who has the most experience with teenagers of the three of us. But this felt to me like the way a kid acts sometimes.
I thought her reaction was perfect because she realized that Harry's not doing it for her or for him.
Yeah.
She realizes he's being selfish and he's not accepting, he wants him to be human all the time now, and she's like, but I'm both. Like, you have to accept both. I have to be both, Like,
yeah, it's not Bridget's
don't
fault.
pigeonhole me just because you're stuck as a human now.
Yeah. So he has to, and that's kind of what later Peter's telling him, that he has to. I get pictures.
Yeah.
That he has to accept both sides of himself. Like, just because he doesn't have, just because he can't have the alien parts, like, he's still part alien. That's still him. And I wish I had that line later, that whenever Harry kind of gives the advice back to Asta about find something that you're successful at. And I don't know. I like how he kind of turned around.
Yeah, that was a great scene between Peter and Harry. I like that a lot.
Yeah, because Harry's like, I'm human, but I feel like an alien, and Peter's like, I'm a robot, but I feel like a human. Justin, would Bridget get along with Helly? I don't think that, I know that we always go to Helly and we always go to Severance, but I don't think, Justin, that Helly was ever allowed to lash out that way that Bridget did. I think like Helly would want to be Bridget when she was a kid and be allowed to shout at her dad and say stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she does not have a good relationship with her father, that's for sure. So do you think that, sorry, I was just going to say, I'm assuming that it seems they're leading to, and I haven't seen any further than this, but it seems that they're leading to finding his kid. Would you agree with that? Like, I feel like that's what's coming, that he's going to find.
My name, Peter Bach, I think is his real name.
Yes,
right?
Peter is going to find his son, the one that was left. Where did we last see him? Was he wasn't left in the prison, right? He was with.
He was in, the last time we saw him was in Vegas with Bruce.
Yeah. So he's eventually going to find his father. I mean, nobody knows his father's alive. Otherwise, he would have went to find him.
Honestly, I felt like this was just a send-off for Peter. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Peter again.
Oh, really? I thought because Liv was talking about the son as well, that meant we were probably going to see them reunited.
Right, that's what I'm saying though. Like, him leaving to find his son kind of closes that storyline.
Loop, yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, he's gone off to like do his thing, and I mean, I think that storyline in this episode took I mean, that is there to parallel Harry's evolution as a father and relationship with Bridget, right? I think. I don't know that it's a total farewell. I mean, yes, they sent him off to like find his son. I mean, how many episodes are left?
I don't.
Peter could return for some big season finale resolution. I wouldn't be surprised, right? It is Terry O'Quinn.
Yeah, I'm not saying he won't necessarily come back. I just saying I wouldn't be surprised if we never saw him again.
I don't know. I thought they were hinting that he'll get to see his son, but I could be wrong. That's just a guess. I really don't know.
I think it's a good guess, Jamie. I think that whole search will happen off screen, and they might just turn up at the end reunited.
Or we could have a spin-off of Peter searching the country for his son.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
You know what the best part about this scene was? About halfway through the scene with these two, and all of a sudden Damon goes, "Is that John Locke?"
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Really? Yes, that is John
I was
Locke.
like, "You just realized that?" And he's like, "Yeah."
A little late to the party there. Yeah. But I'd totally watch that spinoff. That would be funny. So yeah, we don't know if we'll see him again, but he's gonna go look for his kid. And then we have the storyline with Ben and Kate. Well, I love the thing with the cookies though. That like she's talking to him about, what those girls did to him, and she's like, "Where are the cookies from?" Like,
that's a huge development that the important part of that is that the Greys have spies in town that we didn't know about yet. The Greys they have to be hybrids, right? Those little girls have to be hybrids. Yeah. They're not, the Greys can they just take human form? No, that's why they have hybrids.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of hybrids in town who are watching these two at all times. Like, that's kind of a big piece of news in the story, I think. Right? Yeah. To me,
I just love the AJ about the cookies, though. I thought it was funny.
I heard AJ sigh deeply when Jamie put this photograph up, and I felt like, I think I know what that's about, but tell us what that's about, AJ, why you heaved a huge sigh when you saw them.
I hate Ben. Kate
really?
can do so much. Yeah, Kate can do so much better. I'm moving to Patience.
Oh, I thought it was because this storyline is dragging out way too long. And I think we need to get some action.
I feel like this storyline actually has a resolution by the end of the episode. Because now that because now Mike and Liv are in on it. They're that part of it. I feel like it's going to evolve much quicker now. My side is because I hate Ben. He is an idiot. He is the absolute worst. Like, I don't understand how this guy not only grew up and married a woman like Kate, but had Darcy pining after him in high school. Like, how? He is a friggin' moron.
And he became the mayor.
He's a friggin' moron. He has no idea. I mean, read the room, dude. Are those the Girl Scout cookies? Those are the alien cookies? Are you kidding me? And he's like, what? And he's like, and he puts it in his mouth. And then she does exactly what I thought she was gonna do. She smashes the cookies. And he is oblivious.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, he says what? They're still cookies, and I mean, he's not wrong. They're still cookies.
No, not wrong. To be fair, I'd probably eat the cookies too, but I would not do it in front of her.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing how she feels.
Don't eat the cookies in the closet or something. Don't tell her. But yeah, I think so oblivious. This episode, I just see her be just like, I just can't. Like, I could just see her ready to scream at him and can't. Like, the whole thing with the knives, like he's taking time to carve the chicken, and she's just got this look like, really? Yeah. Really?
I mean, he doesn't bother me that much because he is part of the long tradition of television, doofy, stupid, usually unattractive men who marry gorgeous, smart, competent women, right? Like, every sitcom ever made, like, that not every sitcom, but many sitcoms, that's the model, right? Like doofy guy. And it's what Kevin Kneff himself was. So it doesn't bother me that much, I guess, because my standards are so low for TV couples.
That's fair.
You're right though, Karen. But nobody has ever irritated me the way Ben does. Like he's just
Really, he's very dumb.
But you know what the difference is? A lot of times with those guys that you're talking about, they aren't as oblivious as Ben. Like Ben just does stupid shit all the time. Like perfect example. Family Ties. Skippy never got the girl. He didn't end up with Mallory, but he wasn't this oblivious, and he was Skippy.
I'm thinking of like King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends. They're those kind of shows. But so he doesn't bother me as much. But he is a complete idiot. He always says the wrong thing. He does the wrong thing. I don't know why Kate continues to rely on him in situations like this. I mean, she might love him despite his faults, but then don't tell him don't let him in on these kind of important high stakes situations. Maybe is where she is making a big mistake with him. And of course he blows it, right? But somehow you're right. Somehow by the end, I guess at the end of the scene, it's Mike who one of them blurts out like our baby was kidnapped by aliens. Right?
Kate blurts it out after Mike finds the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. There he is. There he is looking stupid. I love this. I did like this part of the scene where they assume that Kate and Ben are swingers, and they've planted the camera there to tape to record themselves swinging in the living room.
Yeah,
and I love it when Ben tries to take Liv, and she's like, "I don't want to swing."
Yeah, I know. I thought what I couldn't figure out is I thought Kate wanted to talk to her to talk about their baby. So I'm not sure why she was sending him off with Ben in the first place. I thought she was going to take her into another room.
No, that was the plan originally, but because Mike totally shit on candles.
Oh yeah, so
Ben didn't want to be anywhere near Mike, so they were going to switch it up, and she was going to take Mike, and he was going to talk to Liv.
I see. Yeah. Although that would have been a funny conversation that probably still wouldn't have went very well. But
and Liv are childhood friends. She was in their high school class also.
Yeah.
So it would have made sense. But nothing can ever go right with these people.
No, but she blurts that out, and then Kate blurts out, no, that it's about the aliens have her baby, and so now everything's out in the open. That makes me happy. Like I want to see that, and see how that's going to get resolved. The thing is they still don't know yet about the other alien stuff going on in the town. Otherwise, they maybe could help her. But since they don't, I'm not sure how they're going to be in the end.
I feel like that's just around the corner because they already know Darcy's involved somehow. So, and I feel like Darcy is on the verge of cracking. Darcy is not in a good place.
She's not. Now she lost the money.
She lost the money, which as soon as she gave her the money, I was like, oh, that money's never making it to the bank.
Yeah, I was confused though. I thought she said it was for a bake sale or something. I think I misunderstood audibly what she said. What was it for?
It was the deposit from the diner.
Okay, she must have said bank then, not bake. That's what I wondered because I couldn't figure out what she said, and then it didn't make sense. Okay. Bank deposit was probably what she said. I thought she said something about a bake sale, and I'm like, what? So yes, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, she never should have given Darcy the money, but she trusted her, and that was kind of the point. She was, I think, showing her too that she trusted her, and yeah, at least she didn't steal a dog. I thought they were going to steal a dog, and I'm like, you guys better not steal a dog.
Actually, do you know what I thought was going to happen? Actually, after the conversation, initially, before the dog heist. I thought, or before she lost the money, I was like, you know what? I was like, Asta's going to get the dog.
Yeah, because I kind of figure Asta's going to go adopt one.
But now I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it wasn't a lot of money. That's all I can say. I hope it wasn't a lot of money. Probably was. I kind of almost wonder, though, if it's something like Darcy was so drunk she stuck it somewhere and doesn't know she did, and it'll turn up later.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that what's her face took it for her.
She might have, yeah. Who she's like, you can what did she say though, that her what was hers like was mine is yours, or whatever she said to her, and she thought that meant I can never remember her name. Help me out here. They're her friend.
Judy, thank you.
Judy?
She thought that meant she could borrow her credit
Judy.
cards and borrow her shoes and borrow everything.
Don't worry, I don't have any sweaty socks in here, just my bare feet.
Just my bare feet. I love Judy though.
She goes, no, just my raw feet. She said,
Yeah.
just my raw feet.
Raw feet.
Yeah, I'm like thinking.
I just watched it.
You know, Darcy so should have left her at the. She even told her to leave her there. She's like, run, and she comes back for her. So I had to give it to Darcy at least to that she did stay to try to help Judy. She could have run off, but you knew that was not.
It seems obvious that Judy has taken the money, right?
Probably, yeah. There's a good
Probably.
chance. She probably did it to help her, and we'll find that out later.
No, I don't think she maybe. I mean, okay, that's a good point, Jamie. I hadn't thought of that. You think Judy took the money and made the deposit? I think she took the money and spent it, or bought a dog, or did something else with it. But maybe. It's possible she took the money and made the deposit, and it would be like
that Darcy was drunk, so she took it from her so she wouldn't lose it. Because I don't know, we always expect Judy to do something really stupid, and it just to me makes sense that maybe she would have done what she should have done, and we're all expecting something else. I don't know. For whatever reason, that's what makes sense to me that might have happened. Or Darcy stuck it somewhere and forgot where she stuck it. As I don't think they're going to have it be that, like, you know, the diner loses a bunch of money like permanently.
No.
You know, they've got to have a way to fix it.
No. I think we're gonna have an entire episode of them trying to get the money before Asta's father comes home, and maybe some conflict between Asta and Darcy. How could you do this? How could you let me down? You had all my money.
This is why you can't have a dog,
right?
Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things, Darcy. Yeah.
Like Darcy was sober when Asta gave her the money, and she
doesn't know Darcy's drinking
and just like got drunk, right? And passed out in the
she doesn't
bar.
know
It was a
Darcy's
pretty
drinking.
egregious. It was a pretty egregious act of irresponsibility on Darcy's part, I think.
Yeah.
which is a shame because Darcy has come so far.
She has, but
Yeah.
you know, she needs to go back and go into rehab, I guess. And
Well, I mean, it's therapy. She drinks because of her like massive insecurity and feelings of failure, right? Like, I mean, she needs like she'll never be able to stop drinking without like some sort of like major breakthrough in her emotional issues. Which that's not the show. That's not the show we're watching. So she'll probably save this baby and like and feel great. I mean, so that's a huge thing. Also, is her outright lie to Ben's face, which I think was the right thing to do, and she knew it was the right thing to do. But the fallout is coming, and will Ben? Like the question is, will Ben be angry, or will Ben see what she did was the lie was necessary? Will that remains to be seen.
Probably first they'll be mad, and then they'll see. I'll probably be a bit of both. Sorry, that's a cop out, but that's what I think.
I think Ben will.
You're right.
You're probably right, but I think there's another layer to it where that is going to make me sigh at Ben again.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, Ben Dufin. I don't know. I think though he's funny, even if he is an idiot. He's funny. But
you know, it used to be comical, and some of the stuff still is comical, but it's just gotten to a point like he's just I don't know. Ben, he just drives me nuts every week.
Now, I also want to talk about. I gotta find the picture here.
Less Ben, more kids.
Yeah, less Ben, more kids, but no, but it was about Max.
Oh, speaking of kids, yeah, that creepy scene with Max and Harry.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for is the picture of the creepy scene with Max, and there's Max. Okay, so Harry, since he's mad at not mad at Bridget, since Bridget's mad at him, he's like, "I'm going to adopt you. You love me." This scene is so inappropriate and creepy in so many ways, and I love it.
Yeah, and I like this change in Max, whereas like in season 1, Max was chasing Harry around and like wanting to be Harry's best friend and wanting to spend time with him. And now Max has realized that what a bad friendship that was, that Harry never liked him really. And now Max doesn't like Harry anymore. And I kind of like that storyline.
Yeah, well, to be fair,
I feel a little bit sorry for Max.
Friend with him.
I mean, Max doesn't really seem to have a lot of friends, and Sahar has like grown past him in a lot of ways, right?
Sahar has always been past him in a lot of ways.
And she's like a genius, like a literal genius in her own right. But I do feel a little bit like Max doesn't have much to do this season. I don't know if he's on another show or it's too hard to work with kids that age or what, but the kids are not in it that much. I mean, I guess the joke is over. Like the joke in the first season was Max was the only person who could see Harry in his true form, right? So that joke has long since played out now that almost everyone knows that Harry's an alien.
Yeah.
Not almost everyone, but a lot of people.
Yeah,
I would still. I mean, the kids can still be involved in other ways.
They can, and I hope they bring them back in. But also, they're not. I think the other problem is they're not like little kids now, so they don't have kind of that like bumbling youth that they can use in jokes as much. But I still like them and think they're really
they don't need to. I mean, they can evolve like everybody else. I mean, hell, look at the beginning of the season. Sahar had the mantid spray. I mean,
yeah,
they're a part of the show. I never say this. You're never going to hear. I've never said it before, and I might never say it again. So hear me now and hear me once. Hear me now, hear me once. I like these kids, and I would like to see more of them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is the only show I feel
right?
the same.
We hate kids in shows.
That's not entirely true. There's been some shows where we feel like the kids are the best part sometimes.
Yeah, but usually we're annoyed at them. Here they are.
We're annoyed with babies.
I hate babies in shows. Ugh.
Yeah, babies in shows.
That's why I'm glad they sent Kate's baby to go live with someone else for a while, so we don't have a baby storyline.
Yeah, we don't want to deal with the baby in the story.
Yeah. So anyway, overall a better episode this week. Did anything else happen? Was that most of the story? Are there some more photos you want to run through? That was hilarious.
Oh my God.
Someone I know. And the Aster is like, I can't. Like, she can't even answer her. She's just like done. She's like, nope.
Oh my God. That whole routine.
And Judy's like, rude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That whole bit in the dog shelter with the accent. That was.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
She's like, you didn't get the dog, did you?
Judy, sometimes Judy's a little too much. Sometimes I think her character's a little too over the top and talk about being too stupid to exist. But sometimes Judy is spot on and hilarious when they can really do great things with her sometimes. Yeah, and I love that.
I love her character. But yeah, I love Asta's reaction where she just like won't even answer her. She's just like AJ sigh, like, no, I can't do it. And she just walks away.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Darcy's doing the same thing. She's going to tell her, and she was like sitting there ready to tell her, and she's like, no. It's like, it's not worth it. She ain't going to get it. Just forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. So then at the end, we have who's it? Okay, I couldn't see what that was. At the very end, we have Harry giving really good advice to Asta, which was really surprising. And he also sounded more human. Like he sounded less dippy, for lack of a better adjective. He sounded less crazy Harry. Just like the way he talked.
He was paraphrasing Peter, but he had his own Harry kind of spin on it, right? And it was really, Jamie, it'd be nice to, he said like, kind of like you're both, pick one, and when you get it right, you'll be both or something like that. It was
find something that you not the right word, but find something that you excel at, and then you'll excel or something like that. Yeah.
But he said it right after he talked about he wishes somebody would come around to his back door.
Oh yeah. You should have come my back door
jokes. There were quite a few backdoor jokes in this episode. But the big
Well,
thing is,
it all starts because he took what Mike said the wrong way.
well, I don't know that he meant it that way. I don't think he understood
No.
it that
That's what I'm saying. Like Mike was talking about, talking to women, and while you're doing this and that, some other guy slips in the back door,
and then he's
and
like, I was sleeping in the back door.
Harry goes, "I'm gonna go tell her I want to be in her back door," and it just went from there.
Yeah, that's funny. I love that. But the big thing is that when he's talking to Asta, he disappears. Like, what just happened?
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess he was abducted. That's where my thought.
I'm guessing he was abducted.
Yeah, I don't know if the Greys took him or. Yeah, I don't know. That was bizarre, and I did not expect at all. So I was really shocked.
It's funny. I feel like because we're expecting that it's the Greys that took him, it's going to be another alien race, maybe his own alien race.
Maybe they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they should be. He's saying, But yeah, I was just really surprised. I didn't see that coming at all. So that was a good surprise. So we'll have to see where he went. All right. I guess while we're waiting for Karen, next is
I'm here.
Revival.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there, you're there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I hear you now.
I'm going to turn off my camera to see if that'll help
I was gonna say
stabilize.
that might help some.
All right, Karen, what else have you seen?
Anything else on
I saw Sandman, but if you want to hold it and talk about something else, it's fine. I'll either tune out or just sit
Let's
through.
do Sandman first. Did you see both of them or just the first one?
I did. I watched 2 episodes of Sandman, and I know you guys just recapped it, right, on another show.
No, we didn't. Oh, on the other show, yeah. Although we're not doing like a super deep dive because we're doing like 2 hours in like an hour and a half or whatever we did. So we didn't go super.
Is that a weekly show? Is that a weekly show?
No, we're just doing. We did 2 episodes each episode. We have one more tonight, and then we're done. We just did 3 shows. So yeah, we're doing 5 and 6 tonight.
Oh, okay.
But we can go back. Let me open the picture here and swap it out.
So you guys
talk while I'm swapping it out. Okay.
So I watched these first 2 episodes. I don't know how you guys felt or what you talked about when you reviewed it. I think, and I'm trying to remember. So it's been 3 years since the show was on, and I'm trying to remember what we felt about it. I feel like pacing on this show is a problem, right? And I feel like sometimes I feel like, God, they're trying to move through so much content from the comics. They've got to move so quickly and jam it in there that they're glossing over stuff and moving fast. And other times I feel like, oh my God, what is something going to happen on this show? Like the first episode, like there's so much exposition being dumped on you all the time, right?
Yeah, I find that funny though, because I actually kind of found the opposite. I remember the first season when I watched recaps to kind of refresh my memory, how there was so much going on. It was so confusing because there were so many storylines. I feel like this season it's a much simpler story. I actually feel like not as much happens. So that's funny for you to say that you feel like they're cramming a lot in. I felt like it was a lot simpler. I don't know.
I mean, AJ and I were familiar with the comics, and you were not in season 1, right?
Right, I'm still not, but yeah.
And so our brain is able to skip over some stuff or really appreciate certain things we see and things that we don't. I just, there's a lot of exposition always because they're moving through. I mean, let's face it, the Raven, what's his name? Exists purely as an expositionary character. Matthew. And I felt like there was a lot of did we really need the backstory of how Morpheus condemned his love? Is it enough that we already know that he condemned his lover to hell? Did we have to see their courtship and all? Are they putting that in there because they feel like a certain segment of fans want to see that? Or to me, I was like, oh my God, do we have to see this? Can we please get into the story? But I'm not the hugest flashback fan. Jamie.
But it is. But it is. I mean, it's straight out of the comic. So
it is, and maybe that's why I also felt like, do we need that in the comic book? Does everybody need it?
And I mean, I guess it does. I guess, but maybe for some fans, I felt seeing it would explain, why after being told you put her in hell for 10,000 years because she rejected you, and now he's.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't really reject him. She just refused to go with him because she realized where her place was, and
Yeah, I guess it,
and he loved her because she made choices for her duty, but then he condemned her for it. So it kind of
Yeah.
is an
and maybe
we
it
talked a
helps,
lot about how much of an asshole he is.
well, maybe it helps people understand that he didn't like. He's like, oh, he said like she betrayed me. Like last season when it came up or earlier, people were like, why'd you do that to her? Because she betrayed me. And did she? I mean, in the flashback we see that she made a decision for the good of her people and that she felt like it just can't work between us. It's actually not unlike the decision Harry made with Heather, like this is just never going to work and bad things will happen to both of us and to both of our realms, so I have to leave you. But Morpheus, being the most emo person in the history of creation, is like, oh, she rejected me, I ban you to hell, right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, that isn't, to me, they didn't do enough, I guess, explaining, because she says that, I mean, I kind of took it, and I know I talked about this when we talked about it, but like, I know from watching Lucifer that like there's this whole thing that people were kept in hell because of their guilt, you know? And she makes a comment saying something like, I will atone for for whatever all eternity for what I did. So I don't, to me it didn't sound like he sent her to hell. It sounded like she, yeah, I don't know. It was a little confusing to me if he actually like said you're going to hell, or if it was that she thought she deserved it or what. It wasn't really clear to me.
I mean, I don't think that a person breaking up with your boyfriend for legitimate like conflict reasons should go to hell. Like, would she regret for the rest of her life, like him letting the one that got like he's the one that got away, like letting her leaving her one true, like would she? But that you should go to hell for that is not something that I think she should feel.
Yeah. But I just wasn't sure like how she ended up in hell. Was it that he said, if you're not with me, that's where you're going?
He sent her to hell.
Yes, he sends her to hell because
that to me wasn't super clear. Okay.
Well, he says in one of the episodes, he said when he's talking to his sister Death, he says, I gave her a choice. And Death says, you gave her an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's me or hell. He didn't say like he gave her an ultimatum and then he acted on it. To me, it's pretty clear in last season and in these episodes that he sends her to hell for choosing not to be with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very shitty thing to do to the woman you supposedly love, and I think maybe he didn't really love her the way he thinks he loved her.
I don't think he did.
And there's a question
about like he clearly doesn't see what he did wrong yet, even though he's like, I'm going to go save her. I think he's going to save her because he knows they think he did wrong. Like, I don't think that he quite still sees what he did wrong. Do you? I feel like he does not. Yeah, it seems like it's almost for selfish reasons. I feel like through a lot of this. Now I know we're only talking about the first 2 episodes, but
well, you know, and you're right though. It is though, because you're right about the selfish reasons, because Death like puts it into perspective for him, and he realizes what he did was wrong, but now he's going to free her because not for her, but because he did something wrong.
yeah, he says that he something like about him being a leader and righting a wrong he made, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he comprehends why it was wrong. I think he's just like, knows that he told it was wrong.
I disagree a little bit. I think he feels a measure of guilt in that moment when Death explains to him. I think he realizes what he did wrong and the magnitude of how he treated her. I do think, like the major like underlying story of the first season and this season is his slowly, when we first meet Morpheus, he says he wants to save humanity, but he doesn't give a damn about any individual human being. And we see him kill many people. And I think the storyline is his coming around to Death's idea that we're not here to lord over humans, we're here to serve them and help them. And I think he's got a level of emotional maturity that he has not reached yet, that he's still working towards, right?
Yeah, and I guess that's my point. Like, it takes him, I think, a lot longer in the season to realize what's wrong, because I know you haven't seen further yet, and that might be part why, but like the whole after what happens, like he's still not getting it. Like he does things that are like, you're a dick. And that's what we were talking about.
That's the story that he is coming around to that. I also think that for an endless who is really older than the gods and older than, creation almost, I think it's hard for any one of them to feel an affinity for humans or compassion or any of these things that he's, Death is further along on that journey, and she is very compassionate and emotionally mature and has like a feeling of responsibility towards humans. The rest of the Endless, I'm not sure. And Morpheus is on that path, but he's not there yet, right? But
Yeah.
I think when you have the power that the Endless have, like, it's even harder to get there. And look at all those assholes who show up to the banquet in episode 2, who are also gods, and they're also horrible people who like don't care about anyone or anything, right?
Right. But I don't even understand how he actually fell in love with her. Like, he saw her in a dream, and there, therefore he was in love with her because of the choices she made. Like, he hadn't even met her, and he decided he was in love with her. So
okay,
yeah.
but Jamie, we live in an age where you can talk to someone on the internet and decide you're in love with them and never have actually met them.
I guess, but he hadn't
Right.
even talked to her, I think, at the point he decided he was in love with her.
I mean,
I'm just saying,
he does come to meet her in a dream, right?
He sees what she does for her people, and he decides that he loves her. But my point is, I don't think he really loves her.
I kind of disagree with that sequence of events. I felt like he saw her, and then he came to her in dreams. She saw him in a dream every night, and she decided she was in love with him first.
She decided she was in love with him too, but I took it from what he said. He said that he loved that she had like an altruistic dream for her people and made it come true. And he said I took it that's what he meant, he fell in love with. And that's why I'm saying, like, I think he thought he was in love with her before he ever came to her in her dream to talk to her. And I don't think he ever really loved her. Not really.
I think he can only see it. He can only come to her in dreams, right? I mean, that's not true. We've seen him walk the earth and talk to people.
He turned into that other guy and saw her.
We've seen him walk the earth and talk to people, whatever. But so I'm just going to disagree a little bit with how I feel about that story, that sequence of events. But at any rate, he I do agree that, like, was he really in love with her? But I don't think it has to do with like when he met her or how. I think he does not understand a concept of love because of who he is and where he is in his emotional journey. And I think whether what happened in a dream or in person, or they went on 1,000 dates, I don't think that he is capable of understanding what he thought was a deep love was really like predicated on her continuing this image he had built of her and her continuing love for him. I mean, it is true that sometimes the most attractive thing about a person is that they're attracted to you. And so you start dating them, and then you realize you can't stand them.
So before we get too far into this, though, I do want to talk about the whole fact with his brother, like, calling them all to meet together.
Destiny.
I think that's an important part of the story, and that's kind of the overarching story, that they're looking for his brother. I'm not sure. But yeah, so he's gathered them all, and we get to meet more of the Endless. I really like the whole sequence of getting to, we've seen Despair and Desire before, granted, but I like that we got to see Destiny, and we got to see Desire again, and we got to see Death again, and we got to meet
Delirious.
Delirium.
Yeah, there's a picture. I was trying to find her. I don't have her yet. I'm not going far enough.
My favorite part was the part where Morpheus goes, Dream is like, wait a minute. You called a meeting, and we're in a meeting because the book says we're supposed to be in a meeting. I'm out of here. And I was like, that's every day at my job.
Yeah, I know. That was
because it's on the calendar, not because there's anything to talk about in the meeting.
Yeah. The other part is, and I know it's not in there, but I want to know is that doesn't, okay, actually I won't say that because that doesn't happen till later. It's something she says in the other episode. But the point of view, but yes, you're right. He has the meeting because he's been told that the meeting happened by the fates, and that it's going to start this destructive event that's going to start a war or something. It's kind of this big bad thing that is with a king abdicating a throne, which you're to assume is Dream, although they're also talking about destruction leaving his realm as well.
Well, it's all set in motion by Lucifer leaving her realm.
And it's also set, so there's 3 different people that left their realms, but yeah, Dream, obviously it's Dream's story. But
I love Lucifer's reason. Well, if Dream can leave his, why can't I leave mine?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, Dream's always gallivanting around somewhere, like constantly away from home.
Yeah, but you thought she's going to get revenge, and she didn't. I like that he went back and saw Hob and two. I like that they found a reason to bring him in. I need to switch to the second episode because we're kind of talking about the second episode. So hold on.
We're just talking as a chapter.
No, that's fine. I can't switch to. I only have the pictures and open. For
Oh, sorry. There, you have them in a certain order.
So
That's why
while Jamie's fiddling around, can we just acknowledge the fact that Mason Alexander Park absolutely owned every scene they were in?
They were born for this role, and when I think about when they were in
Quantum
Leap, which is I loved them in Quantum Leap, but this character is just, I
agree. I really think that when you just said that they were born for this role, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because reading the comics, I like, Desire is both. Like, she's male, female. I feel like she's kind of depicted female more often in the comics. But you could always feel both sides of it, and I agree. Mason Alexander Park is killing it as Desire. Perfect casting.
This very sort of
I think since I switched to episode 2, though, I don't have any more pictures of Mason. Sorry.
That's okay, but
whatever.
I think they've done. I mean, Alexander Park is fantastic in this role, but I think they have really captured Desire from the comics, right? And the way Desire is like, I mean, Desire is something that we all feel, and every time I see Desire on the screen, I'm like, any person of any persuasion would be attracted to this particular endless, to Desire, this person, right? Desire is very, I mean, it's just an incredible personification, I think.
Oh, and something I really thought was cool in that first scene that we see them when she's in the gallery and they go up and they're drawing a picture with a lipstick, and you only see it for a split second, but that is exactly how they're depicted in the comic. Like that was, I thought that was a cool little nod.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, the other thing we kind of talked about is, do you really think any of these endless are actually necessarily female or male or even human looking? Because they're more like represent ideas. And we were talking about how, like, do they maybe just see how the humans expect them to see? Just how we talked about.
I'll say yes, for the simple fact of they refer to each other as brother. Desire is the only one they don't refer to as brother or sister, but all the others they refer to as brother and sister. They refer to Death as sister. They refer to Dream as brother.
I kind of wonder because we see too, like, whenever Dream comes to see Nada, and he comes to see her as a different, like, he looks different, and I think that was supposed to be like her, I don't know, her like perfect image of a man or whatever that he kind of like became, and she was seeing a different version of him.
He looks like a member of her kingdom, right? Like, is this what her kingdom looks like? And he's in disguise as one of her people, kind of.
I thought it was supposed to maybe be like her ideal mate, like he looked like at first, because he's
her type. Everybody has a type, and he's her type, right? And that's why Dream comes to her as her type, as her dream boat.
So they definitely can change.
Yeah. Well, look how in the first episode, how Dream shows up with long hair, all Loki looking, right? Like, like Hiddleston with that long hair. And I was like, wait, he better not have that haircut this whole season. I can't take that. I mean, I kind of like
it's good. It's because that's the image of the painting.
Yeah.
Which is why he came out like that.
Yeah. He came out looking like the painting. But yeah, Jamie, I enjoyed that. Like, are we going to finally, like, it's time to see more of the Endless. Especially this is the last season, right? They're only getting 2 seasons. And so to learn more about the Endless and this family conflict that they're going to have. I do feel a little bit like the story is all over the place, and setting aside whatever happens in the comic in what sequence, this, I've only seen the first two, but it appears to continue to be a show that has a lot of self-contained storylines that sort of jump around and are loosely threaded together. And the thing that we were sort of told at the beginning of episode 1, like Dream escaped and Dream has to rebuild his kingdom, but that appears to all kind of be done. Remember how like all the nightmares just get captured sort of off screen, except for a couple.
He kind of pauses that to go on his journey to find Nada, I think, because
Well,
he says he has more rebuilding to do.
He does, and yet when he comes to the gates of hell, he says, like, I have enough power to bust down those gates if I want to, but oh my god, they're wide open. Let me go in there. But Dreams, like there are these like storylines and side thing. I mean, the comic is sort of very chaptery, right? Like,
Yeah.
And we've been through like a lot of them, and there are some more to go. But I think I can see why there are critics and there are fans who are sort of frustrated with that, who were expecting maybe a more serialized through line. And it's a little
I was one of those, and I'm worried about the second season because Netflix has said that it has nothing to do with what's happening with Neil Gaiman, that
the decision was made before the allegations.
The decision was made to only have 2 seasons because that's all they need to tell Dream's story. And I'm going, no, that's bullshit. And it's not just Dream's story. It's called Sandman. So basically, I mean, some of Dream's story doesn't make sense without that other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean,
and there's so much that they could do with it. I mean, there's, you got the main Sandman story, and then you have other comics that, like, there's comics out there that tell an individual story of each of the Endless, and it's actually one of my favorite stories of all those is Death.
We are getting
individual story,
a bonus episode of Death at least.
Yeah, well, the bonus episode last year was not good.
But see, the bonus episode, I liked the bonus episode last year because it leads to something I feel like they're gonna cut out from the show, which is ironic.
Yeah,
and that's gonna bother me because that's a really good storyline.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they would cut it out, but the way they're talking, and we've got 12 episodes.
12,
6 and 6?
6 and 6, yeah.
I just don't know how they're going to tell all of Dream's story in 12 episodes. So either you're going to rush through it, or they're going to leave a lot of stuff on the floor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so we're not here to litigate Neil Gaiman, right? But I mean, I think it's entirely possible that Netflix is telling the truth and they had decided to cut it after 2 years. Netflix does not have a good track record of letting shows go on for a long time. They've canceled many shows that we liked after 1 or 2 seasons, right?
DOA.
And this show is crazy expensive. I mean, this show is gorgeous to look at. It's crazy expensive, this show. And the guest stars are insane. Like, you don't get Gwendolyn Christie and David Thewlis for pennies because they just want to be in the show, right?
But you know what? You knew what the scope of the show was when you started it. So why wouldn't you want to see it all the way through and properly?
Because it also has to perform, and maybe it didn't perform for them. Because we don't know. The streamers do not share numbers the way networks do, and we don't know if it performed for them. And then also, so there are allegations against him, and this is just like Justin Tucker, kicker for the Ravens. He has all these allegations against him. He got cut for football reasons because then they can't sue. Then the Players Association is not going to sue. When you get cut for football reasons, you're gone. If you get cut for the morals clause, then there's a lawsuit. So if they can cut this show based on financial reasons, they don't have to deal with other things that they don't want to deal with, right? I'm just saying that it's always out there, right?
And, I understand what you're saying. It's just, but it in the long run, it hurts your show, and what do you gain from it?
You know what hurts the show? Having to wait 3 years since the last season to watch it.
Well, that 2 years. I agree with.
Yeah, that's true. But it still is great to look at. So how did you Jamie, how did you like this sequence with Death saying, you know what, I decided to quit. And you just chop my wings off and let me go. And then it's like, it's an elaborate revenge plan, but it's twofold, right? Because Death, then Lucifer gets to like go live a life or whatever also. supposedly.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously what the whole second part of it's about is him, figuring out who to give it to. But I'm trying to think of how far you guys are. I don't want to go too far. But yeah, I think that was interesting because I think we all, whenever he showed up to hell, expected her to be there to get revenge, and she
Yeah.
wasn't. But as soon as she said to him, "Take off your helmet, I will not do you any harm within the gates of hell." As soon as she said that, I'm thinking, well, then yeah, you're going to do something outside of hell, and
That was kind of
I thought that was I saw that coming, but I like that she did that. But yeah, I forgot what you guys haven't. We're not talking about the resolution of all that yet. But I do like that we get. I mean, I don't know that all of it was needed, but I do like the story that we get with him taking and having the banquet with everybody and us meeting all the different people and why they should or shouldn't.
Why they think they should, why they want to control hell. I'm not sure any of them should, right? Like by the end of the episode, Lucien asks Astream, did you decide? And he says, 5 minutes ago I was not going to give it to any of them, but now I have 2 candidates. Is sort of where it ends at the end of the episode.
Yeah. And he also gets threatened by Azazel is the other part. But we do meet all these like crazy characters. I enjoyed getting to meet the different people. But
I was very excited for the banquet, and I got to say I was not disappointed. I thought the banquet was so much fun.
Yeah, the banquet was great. The banquet was a lot of fun. A lot of fun seeing all those different characters, how they're depicted. I think that you could pick some favorites or some front runners just from what you saw on the screen, right? I mean, I think we know who Dream's 2 front runners are right now.
Yeah, the least insane part. The least insane ones, I mean. And also, Loki, I didn't realize, or I thought was right, and I was right because I looked up. Loki is Freddie Fox, who we just saw in Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a great, and Jack Gleason is in it this season. Freddie Fox was in it. It was a great group of people that showed up at that and people who were like, it's interesting that we have like Odin and his sons show up, right? But also like we have Greek, so we have like a Nordic god, we have Greek people from Greek mythology, we have people from literature, we have fairies who show up, we have like all sorts of different people from different traditions show up there. I thought that was kind of cool. Showed up at this banquet that Dream has.
Yeah, we see a bunch of different things,
and they're mostly annoying jerks. And Dream's like, yeah, I'm just gonna stand back here and observe them because he says if I hang out with them, they're gonna be on like good behavior, and I'm just gonna like not hang out with them, and then we'll see what they're all really like. And most of them are pretty like they immediately start getting in fights, right? I mean, most of them take themselves out of the run. For me, like, okay, if you hadn't read the comic book, I'm just watching that screen. I'm like, oh yeah, and not one of these people can be trusted with hell, except maybe the fairy sister, right? But the fairies want hell to remain empty. And
the Lord of Storms or whatever it was,
the sort of Japanese guy, right?
Yeah, Makoto.
Like, I'm gonna try to help all those people. And then Odin has a pretty good claim. Like Odin's like, look, I got to do what's right for my people. And Sandman's like, well, if you have more territory, won't you just have more to fight over? And Odin's like, yeah, for now, but I got to do what I can for now, and I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, which is actually kind of a good argument, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
think the fairy sister is not really on. I think Dream's short list is the storm god, the Japanese Storm God, and Odin, I think, are who he's going to say are his two frontrunners next episode. But I think the fairy sister might be the dark horse.
Yeah, I think they're the only ones that seem at this
Based
point.
on what we saw in this episode.
Yeah.
She's the only person who's like, let me just get really drunk and be belligerent right now.
Yeah. But I like, there's so many though, because we also have the Jemmy, the crazy one that's dressed as a clown.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's a psycho. She's very Harley Quinn, isn't she?
Yes. Yes.
Jamie, when you had only watched 2 episodes, when you've only seen this episode, you haven't watched ahead yet, and so Azazel is like, "Oh, I've got what's her name, Nuala? I've got her. I know where she is, and if you give me hell, I'll tell you where she is." So
my immediate thought was, you really should not be threatening him. That was my thought. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what he was going to do, but I did think that it was going to end up bad for Azazel because, yeah, he shouldn't be threatening Dream. I just didn't.
Oh, that's good. I was wondering if your immediate thought was going to be, oh, Dream is going to do something stupid for this girl. And
well, or that too, but I don't know. I just thought that he's, at his place, he said that they can't hurt each other in that. And I just was like, he should watch what he's doing. Like, I think they want you to think that, something's gonna happen to her, but I think it's just he's gonna do something. That was my immediate thought.
Well, there was a kind of a telling moment, I think. I'm sure you both caught it when Morpheus Dream is talking to his cook, his chef, and she says, "Oh, you'll make the right decision. You almost always do.
You almost always do, yeah."
Yeah, that was
great. Which is leaving open the possibility that he makes a bad decision and then has to correct it. But I mean, I think, again, only from what you watch on TV at this point, will he make the right? Now the creator has sent angels to watch, right? And we always saw the way Dream outsmarted Lucifer last season, like showed how really smart he is. And will he make a good decision? And please the creator.
Yeah.
So I like Tom Sturridge still in this role, even though it's a very Dream is who he is as a character in the comics on the screen. There's not a lot for this actor to work with this very sort of cold and closed off and stoic character who the only time he shows emotion is when he's sort of like Mr. Whiny emo guy, right?
Yeah.
But I think we talked about this last year. He's so well cast. I mean, he is this guy from the comic book. When I saw him on the screen, I'm like, oh, he is that guy, right? And he seems really good. Especially in a show where the acting can be, I think, uneven in this show. But I think he's great in the lead role. And I think he does well. Like, it is hard to hold your own on screen with Mason Alexander Park, and just with a character like Destin, like Desire, who's just such a supposed to be charismatic and big and attractive and seductive and loud, and Dream is supposed to be the opposite of that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, we got 2 more shows, so we might want to.
All right, we're done. I have nothing else to talk about. What are you talking about next?
I do want to say one thing though. So one thing this show has done poorly, maybe, I'm not going to say what the scene is or exactly what happens, but in a single moment, already figured out how the show ends.
In a future episode that I haven't seen yet?
No. In one of the I forget if it was seen as in the first or second episode because we watched them back to back. But he figured out how the show ends.
Wow!
Because of a certain scene.
I'm trying to think of I watched them so fast today. Just trying to.
I mean, you also know how it ends, so.
I know how it ends. Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Already figured it out, and I was like, "Wow, that was." He's like, it's pretty obvious with what they just did on the screen, and I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well, he is your son, so.
So.
All right, what are you guys going to talk about next?
Ironheart or Revival?
Revival, because I want to do Revival before we hang up, because then you guys are great, can do Ironheart by yourself while I go get ready, but you need to be off by midnight because my other shows.
I have not watched either of those shows.
Yeah, I know. Do you want to do Revival really quick, AJ?
Let's do Revival then.
You can either wait to talk about Ironheart, or you can talk about it by yourself since you're the only one.
Well, Karen hasn't seen it.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you want to talk about yourself because I didn't.
Hey,
I only
real quick, Jamie, why did you schedule so much in one day?
Because I had to find a place to put the Sandman episodes, and we wanted to do them 3 in a row, so we did it that way. But I didn't think we're never till midnight. I didn't expect us.
Oh, are you kidding me? We're always till midnight. Usually we're over.
Around done.
Anyway, all right. So Revival.
I'm going to be quiet and listen. I have read Revival past the point that I am at, so I'm just going to listen quietly to you guys. Okay.
Okay.
It won't spoil me because I've read it. Not all of it, but I've read farther than where we are.
I'm opening the pictures here. So this episode, I'm trying to remember which episode this was. I've had so many things look at it.
This is with a skinless man.
With what?
Oh, the skinless man, or whatever the hell, burnt man. I don't know what the hell his deal is there.
Oh, that he broke into. Yeah,
I
don't
broke
know
into her.
what that's
Him,
about.
yeah.
I
can't tell if his skin looks like it's missing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it has something to do with that Black Deer case, but I don't understand what yet. I don't know where that's going.
Doesn't he look like that guy from Preacher? Kind of the guy that shot himself.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't know about, but he definitely looks like he's been burnt, and I don't know.
I
don't understand what that's. Yeah, what that's about. But we also have the whole thing with learning more about Blaine and M and Dana going to talk to Blaine, and they do reveal that she remembers, and this is later on, that she remembers he left. So we do find out after that he didn't do anything to her, but at this point they're trying to figure out why he was on the bridge and what he remembers. And I think the important takeaway from that is that he talks about like the light and everything that was there, and she doesn't remember because she was high. That was kind of my takeaway from that. And then we also have, they're starting to force the revivers to be registered. And Wayne comes in and stamps Rhodey's ID and tells Em that she has to go to anger management. So that we have that, which I agree, he is the one that needs to go to anger management.
Well, you know how I feel about Wayne.
Yeah, I know. We complain about him a lot.
Not a fan.
Yeah. And then let's see, Dana goes on a date with Ibrahim. I'm trying to see what else is important. Oh, there's the whole thing that M talks to Aaron's wife about being a reviver, and I think that some of what she says.
I mean, I think that's the big thing of the episode. I mean, we know it's a small town, but this is some interesting threads that we got running through here. Like, so Aaron told his wife that M is a reviver.
Yeah.
The fact that Aaron's wife is her therapist. I mean, M's got to be sitting there going, well, this is really awkward. I slept with your husband. Not just she has said that out loud, but that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it just the whole thing. You know, and what was on that flash drive, and what was Aaron up to, and you know, who shot him? Was it the skinless man that shot him? Is there somebody else involved? I mean, this whole episode was like crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the other thing too, is Aaron says something on the phone about once his wife is taken care of. Now, I assume that you're supposed to think he means killing his wife, but I think he literally means like he wants his wife taken care of if anything happens, since she is.
Yeah, that's how I took it, was that if anything happened.
Well, I kind of felt like maybe they were trying to make you think the opposite. And then we have the whole thing with Blaine's group threatening people. We have that. They're trying to scare everybody. What else? Oh, they go and they find the ring. They find out that the ring was Aaron's, and Aaron does admit to taking her, to being in the woods and everything. And that's why
he chloroformed her.
He chloroformed her. We don't know why, but he didn't kill her, we know, or at least it seemed like that. And while they're going on their date, she goes into the woods to M does to meet Aaron, and then he gets shot, and then she gets shot, and Dana gets shot.
M follows Aaron. Aaron's in the woods to meet.
Aaron's in the woods to meet Dana. Yeah, Aaron's in the woods to meet Dana. I don't know what exactly he was going to tell Dana. Especially he didn't for sure know that she even knew M was a reviver. So I don't know. I'm curious if he actually had a plan, or if since they were killing him, he didn't have to have a plan and it was just, for the plot. But yeah, I mean, the big thing is we know that he took her, but if he wasn't the one that killed her, why did he take her? It seems like maybe he was working for that skinless man. I was kind of wondering.
I think he might have been trying to protect her, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But chloroforming somebody isn't good. But yeah, now Dana's in the thick of it, and Dana ends up shot. And obviously
I did not see that coming. And I'm sitting there going the whole time, I'm watching this and I'm going, Dana can't die. She's one of the main cast members. And I was like, wait, she is one of the main cast members, right?
I know.
Like,
M is kind of the main character, and I was wondering that too. Yeah, I was really surprised.
Well, it's funny because it starts out you think it's Dana's the main character. Now come to realize that M's kind of the main character, and that's when I started going, wait, Dana can't die, right?
No, I did the same thing, and it had me questioning. Like, I still don't think she's going to die, but it definitely.
No, I don't either.
Questioning, is there a possibility she could die? And because it is M's story.
You know what? I do feel like there is a possibility she could die. After that, I was like, holy shit, I hadn't even considered that. I don't think she's going to die, but
I feel like she won't die because I feel like she's been billed as the star because she's the one who's known from Winona. But that isn't necessarily.
Well, I also it's actually funny, but I think another reason if it was just the two of them in the middle of the woods, she's a goner, but because Dr. Ramin is there, and he's got to hear her yelling for help. So he's going to be the reason. He's going to get there. He's going to get there and get her to the hospital.
He heard the gunshot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did hear the gunshot. So
yeah. So I think that he'll come save her. I mean, that's my guess what's going to happen. And I think the next episode's called Triage, so it's obviously going to be about.
Yeah. And I got to say, when we were talking to Romy tonight, I didn't say it, but I was very happy that the hair cutting scene. I loved that scene so much because I hated her hair.
Oh, the original hair.
The wig. Oh my god, the emo look. I hated it. Like the whole shaving her head and cutting her hair though. That was. She looks badass.
I like when she shaved her head. It's like empowering that she did it.
Yeah.
Changed it up, and yeah, I like that scene. I think that is a good scene. But I think she's becoming a badass slowly. I think she's getting there. And right now, she's finally thought that she got somewhere in her murder case, only to find out Aaron didn't do it and Aaron's dead. So now she's screwed and got to figure out where to go next. It's kind of the gist of that.
I still want to know how she swallowed Aaron's ring.
That is a good question I don't have an answer to. I would like to know that too. And I also question, did Aaron then just use somebody else's name? Because they make a point of saying that the assistant ordered the ring. But yet that name was also used to use, like when he rented the car. So that's why I wonder.
Yes,
I guess
he used his TA's name.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand how she got the ring in her mouth either. We talked about how, which I kind of wondered, is I thought we were going to maybe find somebody who had like a finger missing that she bit it off or something, because that to me made a little more sense.
That would be funny.
So we'll find out. I don't know. Maybe when he chloroformed her, she somehow grabbed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out Aaron's a reviver. Maybe he did lose his finger, and maybe he'll come back. Who knows? I don't think so. I'm just joking. But, yeah.
Oh, and how about Wayne? With I didn't even catch the character's name. That scene happened so quick. What's called?
No, you mean this one?
Yeah.
This one. Yeah, the mayor's wife.
Yeah.
I want to ask you how you feel, because Lori and I both have, although she seems to start to be coming around to my side, I think that he's going to change whenever he finds out eventually that M is a reviver, and it's going to be too late.
Nope.
She thought
he's an asshole.
was still going to think that revivers are bad, and just it didn't matter that M was one. So you were more on her side. She's starting to come over.
Yeah, no, I've said it all along. I feel like he's gonna, he's gonna be like, "You're not my daughter."
That's interesting. I don't know. I just don't, for whatever reason, I thought from the beginning that it's just going to be like he's going to wish that he had done something different, and it's going to be too late to fix it. That's what I figured.
But here's the thing about this scene with the mayor's wife. Why does she even come and tell him?
That is a good question. I didn't have an answer to that. I agree.
He has no way to know. He has no way to know. The bigger question is, what was going on in your marriage that you killed yourself?
Yeah, they did imply that she got rid of.
Well, I mean, no, he said, I didn't know you were a reviver. That means you must have. And she's like, well, yeah. So I mean, that's pretty obvious that she, for him not to know that she was dead.
Yeah, that's
means
kind of the only.
She killed herself on, right before Revival Day.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. Nobody knows you did that except for you and your husband. So why go to Wayne in the first place and tell him?
I agree. I guess she thought that maybe he could protect her in case somebody found out. I don't.
But
yeah,
well, I kind of feel like it was also to show. I mean, you saw it. He's like, sorry, there's nothing I could do. This is somebody that, I mean, we're being told this, that it's exposition, but this is somebody that was there for you through your wife's death, that helped you and your girls, through this, and you're not willing to do anything for this person in return, which is why I feel Wayne's a shitty person.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder if he actually believes the bullshit he's spouting. I think that he does think that they're less than, or that they're, dangerous.
Oh, I absolutely.
And that's a problem.
Maybe part of it's because he's pissed off. Now maybe he wishes he didn't have his wife cremated.
Yeah.
Because then she would have came back.
No, she died way before, but yeah. Because it was supposed to be the anniversary of her death or whatever, so she clearly.
Yeah, but how far back? I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, is there
a couple weeks? It said how long it was. I forget. It was.
Oh, did it?
10 days or something like. I don't remember.
Missed that part.
Yeah. No, because remember that lady's husband missed it by like 1 day. The one that dug her husband up.
No, he died. No, that lady. He died the day after Revival Day.
Oh, I think he had died 1 day too long. He had died before Revival Day started. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is it's only so many days that it goes back. So it's not.
Yeah, that woman dug him up. He was like 1 or 2. He died 1 or 2, like a day after Revival Day.
Yeah.
And that lady was like, "Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. He'll come up. He'll come back." That's what.
Okay, I thought he died before Revival Day, but the point is it's a couple weeks that it has to be within that time period. So his wife.
I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah. No, they explained that in the very first episode.
Either way, Wayne's an asshole.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think they've made him. So I haven't watched these episodes, but you guys really, I think they maybe have made him harsher than he was in the comic books.
So you've started reading it then?
I mean, I read it a long time. I started reading it a long time ago. I never finished it.
Okay.
I mean, it finished in like 2017, and I bought it in like 2021-ish, I think. 2020 or 21-ish, but I did not finish it. But I think that there's a lot of people in the comic book, and it just seems like they are maybe paring that down, which is probably necessary for a television show versus a comic, right? Mm-hmm. There's like a lot of people and a lot of stuff happening that you guys seem to not have even gotten. Like, I haven't watched it yet, but this episode, these last two. But
you haven't watched any of them? You've watched part of them, right?
I watched the first two. Okay. I didn't watch these last two.
Yeah, there's a lot coming in the next two.
There's a lot of story coming that is about how society is affected by Revival. And I don't know if that's coming yet or if it is to come later in the season or in a second season. But anyway.
I don't know specifically what you're talking about, so I'm not sure. But there's a lot that's going to be happening in the next 2 episodes at any rate. But yeah, I think that I tend to think that he's going to regret what he's doing, but you feel the opposite. So that's interesting. I really am curious to see.
I'm not saying that he won't. He just
no.
seems
I mean, AJ did. No, I meant that AJ said he thinks that he's still going to be like, "You're not my daughter." I think he's going to regret and realize that they're not bad and that he shouldn't have said that because now it's his daughter when he eventually finds out. So I'm curious how that's going to turn out. And what else? I think that's it.
right.
I think that's it. I think that's pretty much. Do you have anything else, AJ? I don't know that there's anything else.
Nope.
We went really quick.
I think
today,
that's.
and if people want to see our full breakdown, of course they can. That was from our Friday show that we did Saturday because of the 4th of July. Everything's been all screwed up. That's also why I've had more shows. But we will be doing the next episode this Friday at 11. So that's in a few days. We'll be going on the 5th one. And if anybody did miss our interview with Romy, you can of course stream that as well. She stayed with us for a full hour. So lots of good content there. So make sure you guys check that out.
Yeah, it was a really good interview. A lot of fun talking to her.
Yeah, it was. That was great. Maybe she'll come back next season, hopefully. That would be good.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
So are you going to talk about Ironheart or are we just going to wait till
Neither of you seen it.
Let's
I
table
seen
it.
part of the third episode, but not enough. I thought I saw the whole
I say we just finish it up, and next week we'll just discuss the whole thing.
That's fine.
It's only a few episodes. It's almost over.
It's 6 episodes. It's already out. Like
The
they
whole
put 3 out. They put 3 out the first last week, and then they put 3 out this past Tuesday.
Yeah, so let's just do the final 4 episodes next week. That's
I'll watch the whole thing and we'll just talk about it as
Yeah.
Plan.
All right, we'll do that.
All right. Well, thank you. Unless you guys have anything else, I don't want to cut you off if you have something else. But
I think we're good.
Thank you everybody for watching. Sorry for the wrapped up show and doing it a bit different this week. But I will be back at midnight for our Sandman breakdown of review. It's not like a full deep dive, but breakdown of the last 2 episodes we're going to be doing and wrapping it up tonight. This is the last episode of our show, but that is at midnight, and I'm hoping that I can get what I need done before then because I'm late as normal. That's nothing new.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Rejoin our Discord if you haven't. Bye-bye.